Well, looky here. Look what we got here. Who's this? You know who this is if you've been listening. Thanks again for tuning in. I freaking love you. You're all gorgeous in your own special way. Today I wanted to talk about coffee. Have you ever seen people who are just completely insane about getting their caffeine fix in the morning? Like if they don't get it, it's pretty much lights out for these people. They're gonna probably rage out and maybe hurt somebody. I had a coworker once who, when they got to work, the coffee machine was empty, and they freaking flipped out. And they thought that I had, not made the coffee when I was done drinking it. But I don't even drink. I stopped drinking coffee, already at that point. I had stopped drinking like about a year before that. But this person accused me of it, and they freaking attacked me. They assaulted me. And I had to file a restraining order against this person so that at work they couldn't talk to me anymore or come near me. It's pretty insane the lengths people will go to for coffee, I used to be a real coffee fiend myself. I'd drink like a big pot of it every morning by myself before I went to work, and I couldn't function without it. But then at some point I just got sick of being dependent on caffeine, so I quit drinking it completely. But I drink hot cocoa now, which has like a tiny bit of caffeine in it. But it's not nearly like anything like coffee. Coffee really gets you wired. You can literally feel it, like your heartbeat just really speeds up. And it makes you pee a lot. I think it helps with pooping too. It's kind of one thing I miss about coffee is it really makes you take a dump, It's kind of nice to take a big dump in the morning. Coffee kind of gets you in that routine where if you drink it in the morning, it pretty much makes you take a dump every morning. It's good if you could take a dump and then get it out of the way so that you don't have to worry about it at work. I think a lot of people do that, I think that's why they drink coffee. It's like, what is it? It's a diuretic? Is it also like a laxative or something? What is it when it makes you poop? Pooperetic? I think that's what it is. But Seattleites are kind of like zombies without coffee. Even on caffeine, they're pretty zombie-like for some reason. I think it's the weather. And everyone's really stoned all the time because, I guess, to cope with the shitty weather, people are kind of zonked out. One thing I noticed about Seattle people is they're kind of, I don't know, a lot of Seattle people don't have very good hygiene, it seems like. And they just look kind of frumpy. Like if you ever lived in another city, like a big city in the US, people dress a lot differently. Like in New York, everyone dresses pretty nicely. It's not really seen as anything weird, but I think in Seattle, a lot of people will see you as being kind of pretentious if you wear nice clothes all the time. Or like you're fake or superficial or something. Here, like the look is like, you gotta look as natural as possible, and it's okay if you don't really shower that often. You have kind of greasy hair, and I don't know, just kind of a really basic looking person. A basic ass bitch, as the kids say these days, Actually, I don't even know if that's cool to say anymore. That was like a few years ago, I think that was cool to say. I think people still say that. That person's a basic. Or that person's basic as fuck. That's one basic MFer, if you know what I mean. So I feel weird sometimes at my age using the newest slang. Like if you say that's fire, something's awesome. Or if something's really funny, you say dead. Or you ghost. Or someone's the goat. Or something's lit. Or someone's a king or a queen. Seems like everyone's a king or a queen these days. I don't even know if that's possible, because if everyone's a king or a queen, then it pretty much becomes meaningless, doesn't it? There can't really be more than one king and queen. Well, I guess there are kings and queens in different countries, but within one country, it's kind of weird to have more than one. It's kind of like that expression, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. At that point, then everyone's just an Indian, I guess. If everyone's royalty, then everyone's just a peasant, pretty much. I don't mind being called a peasant. If everyone's a peasant, or if everyone's a king or a queen, isn't it like a form of communism? Except instead of everyone having the same income, everyone has the same status. Because it's like people are jealous of why does that guy get to be the king but not me? So you should like redistribute some of that status to me. It's kind of like communism, I think. It's just weird that people do that in America, because Americans are really staunchly opposed to communism. Even though capitalism fucks them over probably a lot more than communism ever would. You got like 3 really, really rich guys. They have all the money and they hire everyone for jobs. And then you gotta like work every day of your life just to survive. Pretty crazy. Maybe that's why people think of themselves as being the king or the queen. Like if I gotta work for $15 an hour, then I guess, I don't know, in order to compensate for that mentally, I'll call myself a king or a queen instead of being like a peasant, or a serf. It's like a coping mechanism, right? It's like if you have not much junk, like you have a small private area, then maybe you buy a really big truck, right? To compensate. So if you have like a shitty job, then you say, I'm a king, to compensate. It's the same thing, basically. Same principle or concept or phenomenon going on there. Have you ever met one of those adults who has the palate of like a child? Person is like 30 or 40 years old and they can only eat like chicken nuggets and french fries and pizza and, I don't know, like cheeseburgers and vanilla ice cream. Have you ever met someone like that? To me, that's a huge red flag. That's a form of arrested development, I think. I think that should be classified in that diagnostic manual of diseases or whatever. That should be one of the ones in there, is palate of a child, but the person is an adult. I think that's a kind of mental disease. It's like, I don't know, it's like a form of fear, I think. Fear of the unknown. And just wanting to stay in your safe little lane, It's like they never took the training wheels off their eating habits. Like, yeah, let's just keep these on. I feel safer that way. I don't want to think about any of those weird, icky foods. Wonder what these people do at like a wedding party. If they serve like salmon and asparagus and, I don't know, some kind of potatoes that have too much herbs on them, they're gonna just look at it and vomit, basically. So they gotta make a special meal for these people. Like chicken tenders and french fries and a juice box. Wouldn't you feel weird if you were 40 years old and you're drinking a juice box every day? And I don't know, a lot of them, they don't even like any kind of sauce on their chicken. It's just too exotic. Barbecue sauce is like weird to them. So they just want to eat like a plain chicken tender and some fries, maybe with just a little bit of salt. I don't know. Too much salt might be like too stimulating for them too. And they want to just drink like a juice box, or maybe they've graduated to soda in terms of beverages. I don't know. But yeah, some people like that kind of weird me out. I don't know about you guys, but doesn't that weird you out? If you meet someone like that? I wonder what else they do that's really childish. They must, I don't know, they must go home and probably they wear some like children's pajamas and their spouse has to read them a story to make them go to bed. It's kind of a funny thought. Isn't it weird how like your pee hole is just pretty much just an exit, right? I don't think things really go into your pee hole. But like other orifices like your mouth or your butthole or your vagina, those all seem pretty much game to some sort of sexual activity, right? Like things can go in them like a penis or a dildo or something, you know? But a pee hole, I never really heard too much about people doing anything with a pee hole except maybe urinating out of it or ejaculating out of it. Maybe there are people who like to put things inside their pee hole though. Is that a thing? Does anyone know about this? It's kind of creepy, but I bet you it's something that someone does. Seems like there's a sort of a kink or fetish for everything, right? Probably dudes who like to put things in their pee holes. That's really sketchy to me. The thought of putting stuff in my pee hole really freaks me out for some reason. Is it even like, would it feel good even? Would there be a point to doing it? Maybe there is. Maybe it does feel good, I don't know. If anyone has heard of something related to this, let me know in the comments, alright? Have you guys ever had Trader Joe's pancake bread? Pancake bread, it's really good. If you ever go to Trader Joe's, I recommend it. It's delicious. This isn't an advertisement, though I wouldn't mind being sponsored by them. If you guys are listening, Trader Joe's, please sponsor this podcast, and I'll hype you up even more. Because I shop there a lot. And I know a lot of my listeners do as well. Because this podcast does have quite a listenership. If you really look into the numbers. And it's going to be worth your time. I'm going to play a little tune for you guys to end the podcast. Thank you. See you next time.